Well, what a difference a day makes. You might remember yesterday's highlight show opened with the ice bowl bathed in glorious sunshine. Well, this afternoon the weather looked like this. Just as well that curling is an indoor sport, really. The rain's done nothing to dampen the spirits of players or fans, though.
Is it an important movie?
So here's what we've got coming up for you in today's programme. Later on we'll have highlights of New Zealand against the United States of America in the ladies competition. Sticking with the women, we have a selection of the action from Japan against Sweden, and on the same session we had Ireland's men taking on Austria. We've also got a look at how the men from Scotland fared against Finland. But we'll start off on the early session with the action from Russia against the Czech Republic, plus a look at how Germany got on against Slovakia. We join this one halfway through the seventh end. The Czech Republic, playing with yellow stones, have the lead and last stone advantage, but it's a red stone from Russia currently sitting in the middle of the house. And that's a pretty decent guard. It would need a very good shot from the Czech skip in order to remove that red stone from near the button. That's exactly what he's going to have a go at, though. And that's a well-executed shot there. The only thing he could have done better was to hold position closer to the button. So the Russian skip, Sergei Korolenko, is going with pace here to try and remove that yellow stone from play. The shooter's out as well, but he won't be too fussed about that. Now the Czech skip could just draw in for one, but he and his third are going for the two instead, trying to split that yellow at the front into the house. Well, no panic there. That was a great shot. So that's 2 to the Czech Republic, and they're in a fantastic position going into the final end. They lead by 8 shots to 5. The Czech skip isn't confident enough to be calling for his lead to throw stones through the house at this point. Well, there are times when a guard stone that far from the house is useful. I don't think this is one of those times, though. And that gives the Czech team the chance to draw another one into the house. If they put enough distance between them, it'll be pretty difficult for Russia to remove them both. Wow, we've got all 4 of them at it. And it's still not enough. Is the ice getting a bit slower? That's 2 shots in a row that are pulled up short. So Russia's lead is coming down with a bit of pace to try to remove that yellow stone near the button. Oh, but that miss really puts the Czech team as favourites here. All they need is to block up that centre guard zone. That wasn't exactly what was wanted either. It's getting a bit scrappy here. Now that shot gives the Czech team a bit to think about. A bit of weight on that red, and it should go. But they may have to use that guard at the front to do it. The shot stone might go too, but I doubt that'll bother them at this point. And that's well done. It wasn't an easy shot. So the Czech team are still controlling this end. And that stone really won't help the Russian cause. Well, it's not counting at the moment, but that yellow adds more pressure on Russia. And Russia are going for a hit on that yellow stone near the centre here. And that's really not good enough. The shot stone had to move then, and Russia are clutching at straws now. Well, that stone over-curled, but all that sweeping did some good. The shot stone didn't go far. It's still far from what Petr Kovac wanted, though. That's another one that's turned too far. This is all about building pressure now. So Korolenko going for a takeout here. It doesn't have huge pace on it. And he really needed that stone to hang around there. So all it should take is one good shot from Kovac here and the match should be secured. And that's it. Russia no longer have enough stones left to win. And confirmation there. Czech Republic taking victory over Russia, 8 shots to 5. So a good result for the Czech Republic. Also on that early session, the men from neighbouring Slovakia were up against Germany. Let's see how that one ended. Well, that shot didn't work out, and with Slovakia already 6-2 down, giving away a 2 to Germany in the 7th end was just too much. So a quick roundup of the results from other matches on that session now. On Sheet B, Norway beat Poland by 14 shots to 2. The USA beat New Zealand 10-1 on E, and England overcame Hungary by 11 shots to 5 over on Sheet F. There was also one senior ladies match on that session, which saw Slovakia take a 7-1 win over England in their match on Sheet C. So, after a short break, it was time for the second session of the day, and on this one, almost all eyes were on the Scots. We join Scotland v Finland at the conclusion of End 4, and it's Finland who have this slender lead, 2-1 with the hammer. So let's see how this 5th end develops. That stone looks like a prime target. And as expected, the red stone is removed, back to square one. Scotland going for something different here, putting a guard up, more conventional play for a lead. Well, it's in the house, but behind the tee line. That may prove more of a problem than a help for Finland. And Scotland will look to just follow that one in. Again, that ran a bit too far. The sweepers said it was losing the rotation on its handle, which won't have helped. Now Finland will try to remove that red stone and roll across to Lai's shot. Well, that shows what guard stones are for. Now Scotland are looking to put another one in the house. And that's a great result. Another attempt at the takeout here. And yet again it hits the guard. Finland have been playing better than this so far. So Scotland replaced the guard and Finland have no option now but to take it off and hope the Scots make a mistake. Well, it's not what was called for, but a freeze is a good result, and it's made life tricky for Finland here. And that's removed one stone, which is about all they could hope for. Now that stone's not in quite such a good spot as the last red one, but it's still far from easy for the Finns here. So one of the reds has gone. What are Scotland going to do now? They've opted to remove the yellow near the back of the house, and that's well done. Finland are just going for the draw here. They can only get one shot with it. But they'll get none for that. So that's 3 to Scotland and pushes them into the lead. Scotland took 2 in the following end, so they then led 6-2. And the Finns completed N7, but only took a single shot. So conceded there. Scotland took the win, 6 shots to 3. So time to check the other results from that session. Over on sheet B, the men from the Netherlands beat Italy by 6 shots to 5. Switzerland controlled their match on sheet C against Denmark and won 10-3. And Wales's winning streak came to an end as they lost 7-5 to Sweden on sheet D. There were 2 senior ladies games on that session too, and the USA took just 6 ends to beat Austria 10-3, while the Czech Republic needed an extra end to get their 8-7 win over New Zealand. Now in the third session we have 2 matches for you. Japan's senior ladies up against Sweden, but first of all here's Austria against Ireland. We join this one in the 4th end. Now the Irish skip, John Joe Kenny, will try to hit that Austria shot stone out here. And that's a good result there. Now, what can Herbert Planer, the Austrian fourth, produce here? So that didn't really work out, and it's 3 shots to Ireland there. So after 4 ends it was 8-1 to Ireland, and barely half an hour later Austria decided they'd had enough and shook at 10-2. A quick look then at the other results from that session in the men's competition. Canada took only 6 ends to beat Slovakia 12-2. Norway emerged the victors from their low-scoring game against Japan, and Australia came through 8-7 in an extra end against France. So we turn to the senior ladies for the rest of the programme, and coming up we've got coverage of the evening session match between New Zealand and the USA, but first it's Japan against Sweden. We join this one in the 7th end. This match has been very close so far. Japan took a 4 in the first end, but since then it's been singles all the way. Now Sweden lie 2 and have the hammer advantage. With just 1 stone left, what can the Japanese skip manufacture here? She's decided on the hit and roll option. With a perfect shot, both the yellows might go. They're having to sweep that very hard. Well, the stone moved too far, so no roll behind the guard, and it should be fairly simple for Sweden to replace that red and take 2 here. Though actually they're going for the draw. It should have the same result, and it's probably the safer shot. There's too much chance of taking your own stone with a hit option. Well, the sweepers are straight on this one. They must be concerned about the weight. And that's good sweeping. They judged it well, and that gives Sweden a 3-shot lead going into the final end. So Ingrid Meltl asking her lead to throw her first stone through. She doesn't want any complications given that they lead by 3 shots. Well, with Japan putting their first stone in the guard zone, Sweden threw their second one through as well, so we pick up the action again with the Japanese second stone. Well, Japan put a centre guard up, but that was the 4th stone, so Sweden can now start to clear that clutter. Well, the double takeout was on, but they just take the 1. And if they can keep doing that, Sweden will control this final end. And for the next few minutes, it was repeat as above. Japan kept putting guards up, Sweden kept taking them off. So with just 4 stones remaining, Japan tried something different. Well, that stone is well buried behind the guard, but it is behind the tee line. Well, with no way through to the shot stone, removing the guard was the next best thing for Sweden there. The sweepers indicated it was too heavy for a guard. They were trying to hold it straight and freeze the stone right on top of the other red, but that's not worked either. We could see both red stones go here. So Ingrid Meldal attempting the double takeout with this stone. Well, it's only the front one that goes, but she won't be too concerned. Now, Japan going for another attempt at that freeze shot. The stone's away. Japan have chosen to split the house instead of the freeze. Well, it was a little too heavy, but it's still counting. That won't matter if Sweden hit the shot stone out, though. So, Ingrid Meldal with what should be the last stone of this match. The crowd are applauding, they know it's good. And there is the handshake. So the match ends in victory for Sweden by 7 shots to 4. There was one other senior ladies match on that session, and it was a bit of a thumping for poor Australia, beaten 11-0 by Switzerland. So, on to our final match from these highlights, and sticking with the women, it's New Zealand against the USA. We join this one in end 4. New Zealand have a slender lead, but it's the USA with the last stone in this one. And that's a good shot, the double takeout perfectly done. So it's an empty house and everyone has to start again. A good response by New Zealand there. That stone is going to be tough to hit. But the US are going to have a go. Such control to take both those reds at once. That was not an easy shot. So when it came to skip stones, the house was still clear. Here's USA skip, Margie Smith. That's a bit further back than she'd have liked. As you can see, plenty of space for New Zealand to draw into the middle. Well, they tried to manufacture the split there, but it's gone a bit wrong, and that leaves the US a decent chance for 2. Well, that's hit the wrong side of the red. And so a mistake by Margie Smith gifts New Zealand 1 shot in this end. But the US bounced straight back. They scored 4 in the 5th end to take the lead, forced New Zealand to score just 1 shot in the 6th, and then scored 2 in the 7th end to lead 8-5 going into that final end. We rejoin the action at the start of the 8th. So the US lead by 3. They're not going to risk giving their opponents anything to work with here. Margie Smith's asking for a throw-through. New Zealand just have to hope that they get a bit of luck. They've generally been playing well enough, but giving up that 4 has scuppered them a bit. And it won't help them if they can't get stones in play. That's a critical mistake at this point. With nothing else in play, the US threw their 2nd stone through the house as well. Well, that's always the risk. You throw a stone too light, then over-adjust. It's the worst possible time for her to lose her weight too. It's unusual, but not unheard of. USA second Debbie Dexter's been asked to throw through too. Well, the guard is finally put in place, but the free guard zone rule no longer applies, so the American ladies may just peel that off. And that's precisely what they do. So there's still nothing in the house at this point. This is exactly what the US want, and exactly not what New Zealand want. So New Zealand put 1 in the front of the house, but unless something goes very wrong with the US team's takeouts, this looks to be already decided. And another stone comes up short. They really needed that in the house, ideally frozen against that yellow. So the US are aiming to hit that guard out and stop New Zealand using it to score with. And that's a good shot. fact that those two stones are offset, you can see a small gap between them from this angle. That means the US can still come in and try and remove that stone that New Zealand put there. The American stone might go as well, but at this point they won't be too worried about that. On the face of it, it's just a minor mistake, but it's something that New Zealand could possibly make use of. They do need to take 3 from this end in order to force the extra, of course. The stone goes out the back. That's it, it's handshakes all round. So the USA take the match. So that's the last of our featured matches, but there were others on that session. Over on Sheet A, England's women came through 6-5 against the Czech Republic. Finland beat Russia 9-1 on Sheet C, and Canada had no worries against Italy on Sheet E. They took victory by 7-2. There were some men's matches going on as well, and on Sheet B, the USA beat Russia 9-3, while on Sheet D, it was England who were the victors over Finland by a 3-shot margin. There was also a night session. Sadly, we don't have footage from that, but I can tell you that on the men's side, Latvia defeated France 12-5, the Czech Republic overcame Hungary 8-3, New Zealand took a 5-2 victory over Scotland, and the unstoppable Canada beat Poland 13-1. We've seen Sweden's senior ladies in winning form. That continued on the night session, and they beat Austria by 1 shot, while Slovakia sealed victory over Japan with a 3 in N7. So that concludes our coverage of Day 2 at the World Seniors 2014. We'll be back here with highlights of Saturday's play, so do join us then. But for now, from a rather soggy Dumfries, it's goodbye.